Good morning. Yes, you're in the kitchen here at Beaver Valley, and so a chance to be with you for this devotion. I'm even giving it a title, Consider the Lilies. This devotion for the week of April 20th, Monday the 20th, on towards that third Sunday in Easter, up until the 26th of April. Let me begin by reading from the Gospel of Luke, the 12th chapter, these words. Jesus said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you'll eat, or about your body, what you'll wear. For life is more than food, and the body is more than clothing. Consider the ravens. They neither sow nor reap. They have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds? And can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your span of life? If then you are not able to do so small a thing as that, why do you worry about the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not clothed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, you of little faith?" Well, here we are, more than a month now into this new normal, or should we say more than a month past anything being close to normal here at Beaver Valley, but also out from this congregation, out into our lives, into our homes, and out into the world in which we live. Increasingly, in the conversations that I have in my line of work, I am hearing more concern about mental health than physical health. Anxiety is real, and it has real consequences. And there's a lot of anxiety because change even keeps changing. And we all know that if we listen to the headlines at all. Fear is real, and there's reason for fear. Fear of our own getting sick or loved ones getting sick with this virus before there are good solutions. And yes, they're coming, but they're not here yet. Increasingly, also, I hear anger coming out of frustration. It's going on so long. These kinds of comments I jotted down. What to do? What are we going to do to get out of this and reopen? A lot of talk about the economy reopening. And who knows how to do it? Lots of voices, and really who's in charge? What can we do safely and what can't we do safely? That's a question I hear more and more from people. It's hitting our family. Do we go to see my elderly parents or don't we? And if we do, how do we do it safely? And a lot of conversation about that. Well, all of this, I think, gets tied up in a word or an idea, let's say, and the idea is worry. It's always been, always will be a mark of being human, and Jesus knows this. In Luke 12, I want to focus on two words that Jesus gives us about the topic of worry. The first is really a practical one. Jesus is saying, what good does worrying do? Jesus says, and can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? Well, let's answer that together. No. So if worrying doesn't change or improve anything, what do we do with it? Because it's real. It's not that it's not real. It just doesn't do us any good. So what to do with it or how to get past it? That's where Jesus gives us a second word. And it's a strong word. It's a command. Consider the lilies, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, yet I tell you, even Solomon in all of his glory was not clothed like one of these. And let's even go a little bit further. And so, if God clothes the grass of the field, how much more will he clothe you? Emily Dickinson, a famous American author, poet, Kathleen Norris in her book, The Cloister Walk, describes her as the patron saint of poetic biblical commentary. There's a title for you. She had a wonderful view, an edgy view, of how to apply Christianity to a world that was often unkind to her. In one of her last letters to her cousins, she wrote this: "Consider the lilies is the only commandment I ever fully obeyed." Consider the lilies is the only commandment I ever obeyed. Good advice, especially in times of worry. In our quiet, in our forced time apart, in this sheltering in home, whatever we call it, we could do worse than go out and spend an hour or two in a garden with all these new flowers just starting to come up and find in the beauty of a lily the beauty of ourselves. That's what Luke 12 is all about. That God sees us as the most precious thing, the most beautiful thing, clothed even more beautifully than the lily. Luke 12 is about this. God will provide for God's creation. And we as God's people are the pinnacle of that beautiful piece of work. Worry has no answer to that. God bless you as you find calm, as you are ministered to by creation itself.